We carry a gun because a gun is one of the most effective, if not the most effective, self-defense tools out there that are available to us. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is Anthony, and here we talk about all things preparedness, training, and education. And today we are talking about training, concealed carry training. And if you are new to concealed carry, this video is for you. We are talking about 5 big mistakes that new concealed carriers make, and sometimes us old concealed carriers make. But if you are new to concealed carry, you're probably a little nervous, and that is normal. And what I want to do in this video is help you get over the nervousness and show you that you really don't need to be worried about the things that you probably are worried about. And so we're going to jump into some real practical advice for concealed carry. Just might save your life. And then stick with me till the end, because I'm going to give you, in addition to the 5 big mistakes, I'm going to give you one huge thing that I wish I would have known years and years ago when I started concealed carrying. All right, let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, links for everything important in this video are down in the description below, and I will pin them in the first comment. All right, number 1, the greatest mistake the new concealed carry person makes is they go out and get a gun and then they don't carry it at all. So mistake number 1. You don't carry your gun. If you're going to carry concealed, you actually have to carry the gun. You don't want to leave it at home, and primarily people leave it at home because they're scared, they're nervous, they're uncomfortable, they haven't figured out a system yet of the holster belt and all the things that go with concealed carry. But the number 1 mistake people make is not carrying a gun. If you haven't looked around in the world today, you need to defend yourself, and you need to be ready to defend yourself and those you love. And so mistake number 1, you don't carry a gun. Make sure you carry your gun. All right, on to number 2. Biggest mistake number 2 is people carry their gun, but they don't carry their gun with a round in the chamber. So mistake number 2, not carrying with a round in the chamber. Now, there are the arguments out there. I would suggest you look into them, especially if you're new to concealed carry. If you're nervous about carrying with a round in the chamber, I have some practical advice for you, and I want to show you that practical advice. I've got my Glock 43.6 MOS in the appendix carry position, and I'm going to take it off my body for a second, take the gun out of the holster, I'm going to drop the magazine, and then I'm going to get that round out of the gun. And so now this gun is visually clear, and it is physically inspected clear. We still treat all guns as if they're loaded, keep them pointing in a safe direction. No one's ever been shot through video camera, and so that's a helpful thing. But what I want you to do as a new concealed carry, if you are nervous about carrying your gun with a round in the chamber, first of all, you need to carry with a round in the chamber. And I want you to get to that point. If you don't carry with a round in the chamber, you're just carrying around a rock, just a paperweight. Something you might be able to hit somebody in the head with or something like that. But that's not what this is for. We carry a gun because a gun is one of the most effective, if not the most effective, self-defense tools out there that are available to us. And so, if you're nervous about carrying one with a round in the chamber, what I want you to do is do what I did. Unload that gun. Make sure it is visibly and physically inspected clear. And then I want you to holster that gun, reholster that gun. And then I want you to put that gun on your body in a good holster and try to introduce a negligent discharge. That means you've made the gun go off. That doesn't mean it's an accidental discharge. There are no accidental discharges. There are negligent discharges, meaning you're negligent or the manufacturer is negligent. And I won't name any names of manufacturers. But go around your house, keep it carried. Even again, this is a clear firearm. Tuck the tail of your t-shirt in there and say, oh man, I made a mistake. By the way, you always want to visually inspect and make sure that you are holstering into a cleared holster. But try to introduce negligent discharge. Try to make that trigger go off. and carry it around with you. Get comfortable with it. Carry it for a couple weeks. Years and years ago when I started carrying, I was nervous about carrying with a round in the chamber, and this is what I did. I carried around the house. I carried everywhere I went with no round in the chamber. And you know what I found after months and months and months and months? That gun was not going to go off. That trigger was not going to be pulled unless I pulled it or something else was introduced into my holster that pulled it. And so if you get a good holster and you have a good setup, do that if you're worried about carrying with a round in the chamber. So do you carry with a round in the chamber? If you're new to concealed carry, consider what I've just told you about that. If you're an old concealed carrier and you happen to be watching this video, what is your opinion on carrying with a round in the chamber? I say you must carry with a round in the chamber, but again, there are different schools of thoughts out there. So that's the big mistake number 2, is not carrying with a round in the chamber, and I hope that helps you to get more comfortable with carrying with a round in the chamber. All right, I'm going to actually put another round in the chamber because I believe you should always have a round in the chamber. Yes, even doing a YouTube video at home, I want to have a round in the chamber because statistically speaking, did you know that at home, in the vicinity of your home, is some of the most dangerous territory to be in, statistically speaking? All right, big mistake number 3 that new concealed carriers make is they're always adjusting the gun. Sitting down, pulling on it, walking around, messing with the gun, messing with your t-shirt. One of the worst things you can do, by the way, for concealed carry, this is just a side note, is pull your shirt down like that. You think it makes it more concealable. No, it doesn't. It actually increases the printing because you're now pulling it tighter. Tighter clothing equals more printing. We don't want to print. And so looser clothing, just shrug your shoulders in a natural drop in your t-shirt and you're going to prevent printing. But you're always adjusting because you're either uncomfortable, because your setup's uncomfortable, or you're just new to it and you're not used to carrying it, or you think you're printing when you're actually not. But stop adjusting the gun. I mean, you can adjust a little bit. I do it nonchalantly, you know, like if I need a little bit more room or my pants kind of sag down, I will sit down sometimes and then I'll grab the top of my holster like that and just pull up under my t-shirt and adjust it. But other than that, I'm not touching the area of my gun at all. I don't want to draw attention to that. And it just becomes this nervous habit that you do, and it's not good to do because then people are going to think you're nervous. And then they're going to wonder why you're nervous about your waistline. And then if they start wondering long enough, they're going to think you're carrying something on your waistline. And the logical conclusion is going to be, oh, this guy may have a gun. This girl may have a gun. So don't draw undue attention to yourself by constantly adjusting your gun. That's big mistake number 3. All right, let's roll on into big mistake number 4 for new concealed carriers. And it kind of goes along with number 3, and that's overchecking for printing. And I already mentioned that is that you're constantly looking down to see if you're printing. Well, your view from here, I would encourage you to get in front of a mirror and look at yourself. Your view from eyes down front is completely different than somebody else's view at your front, or if you carry a strong side hip, or if you carry it to 430 position, view is completely different. So look in the mirror before you go out for the day. Know how your clothing falls, know about your covered garment, and then don't keep checking if you're printing. And again, as I mentioned in number 3, one of the worst things you can do is pull your clothing tight, because then you definitely are going to print. You just want natural fall, because nobody goes out of the house and pulls their shirt down and pulls their shirt down tight and is constantly pulling it down tight. They just have their clothes naturally fall on their body, and that's the best way to carry. And so if your setup is right, if you've got the right holster, you've got the right belt, you've got the right clothing choice for your setup, and again, this is personal preference, and it is individually dependent upon how you carry and what position you carry. But for the most part, just let your clothes naturally fall and don't worry about printing. I've got news for you. People are more interested in their phones and their technology than they are if you're carrying a gun. So 99.9% of the people out there in the world, whether you're at Walmart or wherever, they're not concerned about looking at your waistline for a gun. They're not even thinking about it. So don't worry about printing. Even if you show a little bit, nobody knows that you're carrying at all, and they're not going to suspect anything else. But if you keep drawing attention to it, or you keep looking at it, or overly emphasizing it in your posture, or in your look, or in your demeanor, then you're going to draw attention to yourself. And the idea behind concealed carry is you don't want to draw attention to yourself at all. And so that's big mistake number 4, paranoia or over worrying about printing. Don't worry about it, because other people aren't worried about it. They're distracted by their phone anyway, and so they are not concerned about you printing. And that leads to big mistake number 5. When you think about your paranoia over printing, and you're worried whether people know you're carrying or not, and so you're nervous about that, it may lead to inaccessible carry. And what do I mean by that? Well, you tuck your gun so far away in a special holster or way down in your waistband that you can't get to your gun. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you the right thing so that you can know the wrong thing. You see the way my holster is set up? The way this is set up, when I sink my hand down on that gun, I immediately get a full firing grip. And so then when I draw and I'm ready to use that gun, I'm not fiddling around with it, I'm not fumbling around with it, but it is a full purchase every time I sink my hand down on that holster. Because this holster, it is a full purchase every time I sink my hand down on that firearm, because this holster and this setup is designed, it leaves me enough space for my middle finger and the rest of my fingers to get fully around the grip of that gun. It allows me to get right up under the tang or the beaver tail of that gun and get a full firing grip. And so that, again, no fumbling, no fuss, no muss. So inaccessible carry, if you are nervous or constantly adjusting the gun, or you're constantly paranoid about printing, the temptation can be to tuck that gun further away than it actually is accessible, and you don't want to do that, because that will get you killed if you actually need that gun. And so don't hide it away in a bag. I'm not saying don't do off-body carry, and I'm not saying don't carry in a purse, but if you carry in a purse, or if you carry off-body in a backpack or something like that, or if you carry in an ankle holster or somewhere where it's not readily accessible, you need to train and make sure it is as accessible as possible. And then if you carry inside the waistband, strong side hip, 430, or appendix position like I do, you want to make sure that gun is immediately accessible, not tucked way down below where you have to dig down into your waistband to get it out, because that will do you no good in a split-second situation when you need to access your gun. All right, so those are the 5 big mistakes that new concealed carriers and some seasoned concealed carriers make. Don't make those mistakes. If you want to see an expanded version, I did the 10 deadly mistakes a couple years ago, and I'm going to link that video down in the description below, and it's also going to be pinned in that first comment. But now look, I want to tell you the single most important thing that I wish I would have known way back when I started to concealed carry, that I believe is the most important thing that you should know. And you know what that is? That is gun safety, true gun safety. Don't skip over this part. Don't say, oh, Anthony, I already know about that. No, you don't know about it, especially if you're skipping over it. Don't skip over it, because we all need to hear it again. The 4 universal rules of gun safety. And those 4 rules will determine life or death for you, or maybe for someone else. I have known a handful of people in my lifetime who broke those rules, and they either hurt somebody, hurt themselves, or almost killed somebody else in the process. So don't take this lightly. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded. Not as if they might be loaded, but as if they are loaded. Every gun you pick up is a loaded gun, regardless of what you think you know or what you think you might know. Rule number 2, always keep your finger off the trigger until you're actually ready to fire, that you've acquired your sight, you've acquired your target, and you're ready to use that gun. Keep your finger off the trigger. Simple trigger discipline, and it becomes an absolute habit over time. I've been carrying so long, that's just the way it is. I've got a funny story for you about that. My daughter went to Bass Pro Shop one time, my oldest daughter. She bought a coffee cup, and it had a coffee mug handle in the shape of a trigger guard. and she thought it was cute and funny, brought it home, and then she realized she was sticking her finger inside that trigger well, developing a bad habit. She got rid of that coffee cup because she didn't want to develop that bad habit over time. So rule number 2, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to use that gun. And that means you've acquired your sights, you've acquired your target, you've made sure there's nothing behind your target that you don't want to destroy. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And then you're ready to use that gun and you can put your finger on the trigger. When you're done using that firearm, finger comes out of the trigger guard and off the trigger, and you are back in completely safe mode. All right, rule number 3, always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. And a safe direction is determined by your environment. If you are at a range, safe direction is downrange. If you are walking around with that firearm, safe direction is pointed down at the ground with nothing in between it, like your foot or anything like that. So, determined by your environment, always keep that gun pointed in a safe direction where it's not pointed at anything that you do not want to destroy. All right, and rule number 4, always be sure of your target and what's behind it. And so whether you're in a self-defense situation or you're out at the range or you're out on your property and you're target shooting, you always be sure of that target and be sure what's behind it, because bullets cannot be taken back and they can go through things. And so you always want to be sure of that target and what's behind it. And so those are the 4 rules of gun safety. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Again, there are links that you're going to want to check out down in the description below if you are new to concealed carry, or even if you're a seasoned veteran. There's a bunch of links down there that'll be helpful to you, including our professional guide to choosing a firearm, and then links for all the videos mentioned in this and other helpful videos that will help you on your concealed carry journey. As always, I want to thank you for making the choice to defend yourself and those you love. Thank you for watching this video. God bless you and yours.